Hi, this is Loredana Nicolai from NNC Services. We've got a great topic today. Many of you requested a lot of advice regarding how you can still sell during the COVID times. We're going to make this really quick so that you can go through all the amazing resources we found for today. First and foremost, I'd like to address and applaud Darius Wilson for his initiative on putting out this white paper on selling to the C-level. I'm actually going to leave the links below in the comments section to this post, but please go through it. It's pure gold. It says, what are some of the priorities and pain points of CEOs, CTOs, chief marketing officers, and so on? From my perspective, this is one of the best, most succinct white papers I've seen on this topic. Please go ahead and read it carefully. It's going to help out a lot with your sales processes. I know that maybe most of you don't necessarily, when they're saying we've got challenges with sales, it's usually because the pipeline is shrinking. And because there's no more, or there are not so many leads that are still coming through. As I mentioned before, engagement is starting to pick up again. So we're seeing that people are starting to get back to the new normal. And in fact, I'd like to address this study on how people prefer COVID-sensitive acts. But if you look at the data, actually, most of the internet users agree that brands should advertise as normal. Right? So don't stop promoting, don't stop advertising, especially in enterprise. We've seen a lot of shifts from one budget to another. So for example, a lot of the budget that was traditionally put to trade shows now is going readdressed into digital environments, especially account-based marketing, right? So account-based sales and account-based marketing. The study also refers what are some of the main challenges during the pandemic. Apparently, that shifting priorities and strategies is a challenge for about half of the marketing teams. Providing visibility and managing really volatile times, lack of bandwidth. I don't know how this can actually be a challenge these days when there's so much available help out there. You know, we're a digital agency, but there's many agencies out there. There's tons of freelancers. Please reach out. Some of these are born digital, so they could easily pick up on any task. Realigning the budget with the new initiatives. Now, this is a point that I wanted to make. For example, I wanted to see, you know, what are some of the best cases right now? What can you do, right? And how, especially in B2B and an enterprise, how are organizations adapting? And if you can look at this, basically there's new ways of working that companies may use post-outbreak. But look at the third line. So if you want to direct your budget and if you want to reorganize your priorities, innovations in marketing and messaging, branding that we may use post-outbreak, right? And the same study mentions here what are the effects and how is the marketing impacted in the first half of 2020, right? So you can see that basically the outbreak affects technology and infrastructure spend, affects marketing campaigns, affects so on. But if you are looking at innovations, if you are looking at new ways to adapt, I believe creativity around these times is one of the best chances you have to survive and maybe even thrive. I've heard a lot of talks about how can you be creative, how can you be resilient. I've seen a lot of Deloitte, for example, podcasts put up there around business resilience. None of this addresses the core topic on how can businesses build resilience. From my own personal experience, I believe that you can look, for example, at world champions in any space and adapt to the let's say personal leadership models, adopt them to the business. And what are some of these? What are some of the ways? There's this project that's been launched by an amazing person, Josh Whiteskin. He's a world chess champion. He is a world champion in many fields of sports and thinking. And from my own experience, one of the best performing people on whatever he puts his mind to. But I'd like to address his system. So he has this art of learning project where he addresses building resilience. I believe that what you can see here and what he advises people, teachers, parents, and so on to do, or professionals in their own space to develop themselves, is still valid to build resilience for the business, right? So for example, value process before results, right? If you have a good process, even around this crisis, do apply, do go with it, don't abandon it. I've seen a lot of people saying pivot. Yes, we have to be flexible around pivoting the business model and flexible to the current crisis. But as you can see, people still want to be marketed, still want to be sold. So please, do your process, don't get stuck, right? And in the key here is to draw insights and to be creative about new ways you approach the same process. Invest in your losses, right? So you're still going to lose some money, all of us will, or margin or something around these days. Do you make it in a way that this is a learning experience? Do you experience a lot? Do you try and test different things? Then go with a beginner's mind, right? An entrepreneurial mind. Try to figure out what are some of the opportunities around this time. Use adversity, right? Find and innovate internal solutions, right? Talking about things in this study that, you know, we need, that these innovations in marketing and the new ways of working are something that we invest in right now, but something that may actually work post the current crisis. We don't know how long this is going to be. So with that in mind, please remember our first reference was to the white paper on selling to the C-level. Please read it carefully. And do let me know if it's working, what's your experience with this. It's definitely a process you can follow. And any questions you may have, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.